Welcome to Random in Tandem. I'm your co host, Eliza.
And I'm Natalie.
Natalie, ask me how my day is going.
How is your day going, Eliza?
Well, my dog, Missy,
Oh, hi, Missy.
got into a bag of cat litter that I put by the front door to take out to the trash. And she dragged it everywhere, including our bed. And I was like, okay, I'll vacuum off the litter parts. No, she smeared poop all over my comforter. So now I have to throw it out, and I don't have a comforter. Michelle's gonna give me one. Hopefully, I'll see her tomorrow and I can get it from her. But
Oh, no.
shucks, and it was a white one. And I was, vacuuming, and then I see all these like poop marks, and I'm like, ah, shit, literally shit. So
Yeah,
that was the highlight of my day.
that's always fun. Yeah. With having
Pets,
pets, there are a lot of fun stories, I'm sure.
yes. How's your day going?
Oh, it's been pretty busy. I just got back from my daily walk when I get to reflect on a lot of different things. I think too many things.
Daily, if you will, um, like an existential crisis, I guess you could call it. I'm curious what big questions you have, actually.
It's funny because a few days ago, I had a career panel for my students, and we had a bunch of people from the industry who came in and talked about how to do well in your first position and how to create and I don't know, build your career. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so overwhelming for me, a professional, to listen to. I can only imagine how students are feeling about it. And then I
Mm-hmm.
was thinking, what did I even achieve in my life? What am I doing right now with myself? I want to grow and develop and do all these amazing things. And then it spiraled into this whole weekend of research about different professions and how I can use my skills in other industries, like transferable skills. And it's like
Mm-hmm.
now I'm about to go sign up to do an MBA. So yeah, it's been pretty fun.
Whoa. Let's back up a little bit. An MBA, really? You're considering that? I mean, I think that's great. Wow. At your university?
Well, we have the tuition benefit, and
Mm-hmm.
I can take a class or two for free here and there. And I feel like I've been in this exploration of what I want to do with my life for the last 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
I've been taking math classes, I've tried programming classes.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, now it's business.
That's okay to be all over the place. I mean, I don't know. I feel the same way for the last longer than 2 or 3 years. That's for sure. I don't know. I think back to my undergrad was paleoanthropology, and I really wanted to do that and do grad school, and I had all of that kind of set up to go talk about old bones, which I love. I love it so much. And then I got into kind of realized my love for space and physics and whatnot, and kind of had that support to go ahead and try it out. And I realized, I can do it, and which I never felt before, so that was a whole other level of wow, it's so challenging and it's so rewarding once you get through it. So I've been on that train for the last couple of years doing all my math classes and some physics classes. And I don't know, I just realized like earlier this year, I'm just like, I guess I started to realize it last summer a little bit, but I started really coming in earlier this year. Where I was just like, it's not like, what do you like? Yes, I love physics and space and everything, and I love bones, but they don't really it doesn't help anyone. It doesn't give back to anyone, and I feel like that's really important to me. I feel like that's a huge part of who I am. Like I can do, those things, but it's not as fulfilling.
Hmm.
I'm not going to come up with some cool physics thing that's going to change our life. That's not a thing I'm going to do. No.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, I don't know. So now I'm going at a lot of different things. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm looking at a master's in Berlin which is one of the reasons why I'm moving there on war and conflict. So I think that would be really interesting to get that background and help. I don't know, help really people in Afghanistan is what I'm focusing on.
Hmm.
Kind of help their community rebuild and help, I don't know, the international people stay the fuck out of it if they're going to make a mess. You know, like that's, it's like standing up for them. How can I help them protect them from the rest of us, kind of?
Yeah.
Or like refugees and stuff. So I've been all over the place. I don't know, and I don't, but I still look up degrees to see like, oh, like what else is, you know, oh, I'll do
Hmm.
linguistics or I'll do whatever, you know. I
Hmm.
know, but you jump around. It's
Yeah.
okay,
I
you
just
know.
sometimes ask myself, why can't I just be satisfied with what I have? Because I have a very fulfilling profession, I feel like, working with students one on one and making a little impact every day in their lives, teaching them how to navigate higher education. That's cool because I honestly see the results of that, right? Once they leave my office or Zoom advising session, I know that they have taken certain pieces with them.
Mm-hmm.
And but on the other hand, I feel like I'm not fully fulfilled. Like it's fulfilling, but it's not really fulfilling, which is so weird. Like I can't imagine our like parents did something for 30 years in a row, the same profession. I don't know.
No, no, and I think about that a lot. Like, there's no way. And I used to feel bad when I would change jobs like every couple years. You know, like, oh, I'm a failure. Like, you're supposed to stay in it with for for years. And I'm like, no, that's not. I don't. That's not. My brain doesn't work that way. I do need the change. And we're growing, and we're learning what we like and don't like. And so I was gonna ask, like, what can you narrow down, like, what else you would want from your job to make it fulfilling? Like, what is the missing piece or pieces?
Hmm. I think for me, it's the challenge of the profession itself. I think I mastered my profession for the most part, and I'm very eager to learn something totally new and explore different type of, I don't know, whether it's maybe challenging software or a project or a team or something
Mm-hmm.
that is a good challenge, not challenge that will put you down and will make you all overwhelmed, but something that I can grow from. And that's why I've been looking into the different areas of business. Like there's project manager. First, you can first be a project specialist, project manager, senior project manager, and so on and so forth. And I feel like, oh, so you can grow from this level to this level. In academic advising, it's like, oh, you can be an academic advisor, and then you can be a director of academic advising, and
Yeah.
nothing in between.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's kind of it. And I don't know what there would be in between, between, I guess there could be different levels of academic advisors. Um,
Maybe not, and that's the problem, and that's the profession that I'm in, and maybe that's just not enough. I don't know.
and that's okay. I think it's totally okay. You did it and you nailed it. And it's time to move on. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I feel the same about my position as a program coordinator.
Yeah.
I I loved it and I do still love it, but I know all of it to the point where just now I'm just lazy because I can do it. I don't want to do some of it. It's just this weird, like, it's not challenging, so I don't want to spend time. It's that, I don't know. Um
Yeah.
but I don't, that I don't regret it. I enjoyed the last 4 years, but it's certainly not what I want to keep doing. Although when I was looking at going to Berlin, I'm like, okay, like you need to get a job, Liz, right? So I'm looking, that's why I look up stuff online. And I could do, I don't, sales, like retail, cashier stuff, probably. Ho- um, yeah, hostels and stuff. But then I found, like, oh, like, Liz, you could be a program coordinator at there because they have like 4 or 5 universities in the area. I'm like, oh, I can be a program coordinator there. So I looked up their stuff, and I can. And there's that's exciting. I could transfer my skills here to there. But two things come from all of that experience. A, I realize I lack a lot of skills. I have this one, I can be an administrator, an office manager. That's my skill. And I don't like that. I think it's very narrowing, in my in the opportunities that I can have. And then so I felt really kind of sad and like I let myself down, like, oh geez, Liz, like you don't really, what have you been doing with your life? You've built kind of you have like no skills to transfer really. It's and then I thought, oh, like okay, program coordinator, yeah, I can do that. That was exciting. And then I thought, no, Liz, because you also don't want to be a program coordinator anymore
Mhm.
for the rest of your life. Like, yeah, it'll be challenging, new country, university, new rules, and all that stuff. Absolutely. But what's that for 4 or 5 more years? That's 8, 10 years of being a program coordinator. I don't want that to be my life. You know what I mean? Like I want to
Mhm.
do other things and I want other experiences. So I'm kind of
Yeah.
hesitant to slide into that again. I
Mhm.
don't want to, because I don't want to just be there, but I also have no other skills. So that's been a learning experience of like, what skills do I wish I had, looking at other jobs right now.
Apparently, consulting is a big deal.
Yes. Yes. Like a business analytics. Is that something that you can do with an MBA, business analytics? Is that a thing, or is that more like data stuff, science?
Um, there are a lot of master's programs that focus on different specialty areas, and business analytics is one of them. So
Oh,
I can go and do that, and that's just 10 classes that I would need to take. Or I can go and do an MBA, which is way more classes. So MBA is not attractive because everybody has an MBA. So you'd better get an MBA from the school that either has a very strong network that would be worth it,
yeah.
um, or maybe some master's degree that actually gives you new skill like analytics or
Got it.
strategy or whatever.
Sure.
But I think and speaking of which, so I took my own advice and I went on LinkedIn and I just randomly started finding people with the titles that I wanted to
Mm-hmm.
explore and learn more about. So
Mm-hmm.
I would find them even in specific companies. And so I would message them, connect with them, add a brief message for the LinkedIn doesn't allow you to do a big one. And I would say, hey, my name is so and so, and I would like to learn about your role in this organization. It seems something that I would like to do myself. Would you mind doing a quick info session with me, like informational interview?
Mm-hmm. Which I never
So,
thought of doing. That's genius.
yeah, so
I like that.
far, I feel like out of 5 people, 3 responded, and I had 3 informational interviews with people that have different kind of roles within the same organization,
Hmm.
which was fun because I got to learn about this company from different angles. And I
Mm-hmm.
got to learn about these new professions like solutions specialist or engagement manager,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, what does engagement manager do exactly?
Right. What does it all mean? I don't know. It's not
Hmm.
what you think it means, probably. I feel like there's so much more involved in those titles. That's exciting though that you had uh 3 people respond.
Yeah.
Um, that's a good idea. I might get on
Hmm.
LinkedIn. But see, that's the problem. I don't know what
Yeah.
titles or what area. I don't know. I go back and forth. I'm trying to okay. So I recently read The Alchemist,
Hmm.
and I read it in one day because it was amazing and I couldn't put it down. I related to it so much with what I'm going through in my life right now, and just trying to like listen to myself and like what is my point on being on this earth? Like why am I here? And trying to listen to my heart and my soul about all of that stuff, and it's hard. It's hard. I don't okay, so I listened enough to realize, okay, I want to do something that helps people, that gives back in some way. Then what does that look like? And do I have the energy? Because I've been in school for years. I've been in school for years. I did my bachelor's and then I stayed for several more years working on my math. Like I'm tired. I'm so tired. I'm so done. So it depends on, like, what I'm interested in, like, how much more schooling is that? Is it beyond just a 2-year master's or something? I don't know. But the book, you've read it,
Mm-hmm. A
right?
while
Yeah.
back.
It relate I keep saying I related to it so much where he Santiago, yeah, got to Africa. I hope no one hasn't read it yet. Spoilers. And he goes there with all of his money and he's ready to go to Egypt, and realize his personal legend and whatever. He gets there and loses all of his money. Someone steals it from him. So he has to start all over. He has to work for like a year and a half or whatever, make his own money and get there on his own. And I relate to that so much because recently I've just been regretting not I've been regretting a little bit, well, okay, kind of a lot, um, about spending the inheritance that I got from my parents when they passed away a couple years ago. Most of it was spent on travel, which I don't regret at all, but I think I dealt with my grief, by purchasing a lot of things, Amazon, Target, stuff that I didn't need, just random shit, honestly, and it made me feel good, and I did that for a very long time, and so I've been really regretting that lately, like, "Oh, Liz, like, you had the money to move to Germany, like, you had it, you could be fine, but I spent it all," and I was like so I relate to that, like, he had the money and it was stolen, I had the money, I spent it, so now I have to work my own and pay my own way to get to where I wanna go, and I just found that really interesting, um, that parallel, I don't know, connect
Connection.
some other
Yeah.
things, yeah, like, "Whoa," and it's kind of inspiring, well, he could work for a year and a half and save up and go, "You can do it too, Liz." I
Yeah.
don't know, um,
Yeah, I read that book like 12 years ago, so I really don't remember, but I remember it was filled with such great sentences that almost every sentence from the book I wanted to write down as a quote somewhere.
yes, I took a lot of pictures. I'm gonna go back through and bookmark them. There are a lot of things. I talked with our friend Michelle, our coworker that's moving, one of our cat lady gang peeps. Um, she got it for me for my birthday, and so as soon as I read it, I was texting her like the middle of the night. Oh my god, we have to talk about it. So we were going skating the next day, roller skating, and we chatted about it in the car. And I did like pull up all the quotes and everything that I took pictures of, and we chatted about it so much. And it was just like every little thing in there just means something, but to different people. Like it's gonna mean something. Everyone's gonna take something away from that book, and you can read it over and over, and you'll take something else away from it each time. I think.
Yeah.
Um, and I'd read that well, I didn't read. Yeah, no, I read it in an Oprah interview that he did that he wrote it in like 10 days or something ridiculous
Wow.
in a very short amount of time. A book like that really changes people's lives. I think it changed my
Mhm.
life. It's such a good book.
It
Anyway.
is. It's one of those books that I feel like you have to have in your bookshelf so you can reread it when you are
Mhm.
going through these times.
Yes.
And I think now is a good time for me to reread it, honestly.
Mhm. Yeah, I think you have to be in a place in your life to read it. Um, I know, like, I connected with all of it, was just where I'm at in my head and in my life, So I was just reading on and on, like, well, how did he deal with it? How did he
Hmm.
handle it? Yeah. Oh no, it was really inspiring. So yeah, you should read it again, then we can chat about it.
Totally.
But where's I going with that? Oh, like listening, like finding what you want to do with your life, like what your purpose is, what you should be doing. I don't know. So like you have some kind of idea, I guess. Sounds like a little
Yeah.
bit. Um, I wouldn't even know where to start to look for things, but and maybe that's okay. Maybe I jump around. I feel like I'm not gonna have this one thing that I'm gonna stick with that's like my thing. I feel like I'm gonna do different things throughout the rest of my life, and I think that's okay. Hmm.
Yeah.
So, what is Liz gonna do next?
Hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah. It's also interesting to think about this because what's your purpose? What's my purpose? I think we define what that purpose is. And Sometimes I think about the fact that, somebody's purpose is to be a good mom and have 3 kids or whatever, that's just
Mhm.
not my purpose. And I can feel that very clearly. But then when it comes to career growth or what do I want to do with my life in terms of jobs, it just feels very overwhelming because in the US, there is such a big focus on doing well professionally and
Mhm.
getting somewhere. And I think I'm at the point where like I just want to get there already. Yeah.
Yep.
The journey's no fun anymore.
Yes.
Like I don't want
Yes.
to go to school. I don't want to take extra classes. I feel like I've put in so much time and effort into all of this. Just give me my sort of reward already. Like I've
Yep.
been working and there is no kind of reward. And that's
Mhm.
been very frustrating. But maybe I'm wrong with my perception of things.
That makes sense to me though, like, there's this no matter what we choose next, we're gonna be starting over in a sense, and it's gonna take time with developing those new skills, whether it's, classes or starting at the, very, very bottom in a company or something and working your way up. And that's discouraging. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I don't want to, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Starting every time from the bottom. And you know what was most frustrating this weekend is the realization that in business and industry, these students that I have, they'll get their first job, they'll get their internship, they'll get the job through the internship, and then they won't even have to apply for a job ever in their life if they're doing, like what we're doing. We're doing a good
Mhm.
job. And in the past, when I was in my master's program, I heard this sentence. I was like, what do you mean you won't have to apply for a job? Because your job will find you, because you will be so cool. You will be given all these opportunities. Like they'll fight for you to come work for them. Well, it's
Mhm.
not like that in higher education, but it is like that in the industry. And
Mhm.
specifically, one young professional mentioned she got an internship. Her professor then said, "Oh, I work at this company. Let me talk to some people." She then applied for a job that she got out of college before she even graduated. Then she worked there for a year. She's like, I don't really like this team. Let me go to talk to some people. She went and talked to some people in other teams, got this new job that she really likes, and now she's working on MBA. And
Mhm.
so I'm a little bit annoyed and jealous that for somebody it seems so effortless because they know people. It's not
Mhm.
what you know, it's who you know. I learned this phrase, I heard it for the first time from my English teacher in Ukraine. Hello, Yuri Mikhailovich, if you're listening. It
It's
was in
very true though.
2000. Yeah, I was like, no, America's all about who does better, who performs better. He's like, mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
So here I am, 13, 14 years later, discovering that it's the truth.
Is that an American thing? Like, I wonder if there, in other countries, is it
Yeah,
still heavily it's who you know, not what you know?
it is
Probably.
heavily who you know in our countries, and we call it corruption.
Mhm.
And then I was like, no, it must be different in the US because they pay attention to how well you do. Well, let's be real. There's a very big difference between you having no skills and getting a director position because you pay a bribe in Ukraine, or you are cousin of a director who works there too. That's one thing, and that happens very often.
Mm.
Versus here, you do your job and you have some connections.
Yeah. But I mean, I would say that the who you know, those people do still have some skill set for the job, but it's not fair to other people who have maybe probably likely a better skill set, more experience.
Yeah. What do you think about this whole idea of who you know, what you know?
It's super true. That's how I have my job now. I have my job now because of the office I worked in as a student, and I knew the dean who put in a good word for the position that was open in another department. So I got that one. And then I was chatting with her about some other openings in the science departments. And one of them was her old department that she was, the chair of. So she knew. Anyways, so she put in, told the chair my name, and here I am 4 years later, So I mean, it is who you know. I mean, I had the skill set too, but it really is who you know. And someone we hired a year ago, part time in our department, I used to work with her in retail. And she, I put in a good word for her, and I was on the hiring committee. And I mean, she was perfect for the job, and I knew that. I knew she would be perfect. But I think it was heavily I knew her and I had a lot of good things to say about her, and she got hired, and she's great for the position, but she tells me all the time it's because I knew you, and I'm like, well, but you also had the skill set, but yeah, because we worked together previously.
Yeah,
So it's definitely a thing. So like in these cases, because it was me, um I think it was great. But I think that it robs other people of
a fair
opportunities, I
chance.
think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I was gonna say I like to say for the one I have now, they had two failed searches. So I didn't take any opportunity away from anyone. They had no one. Just want to put that out there. Okay, go.
I wanted to mention that I'm about to either embrace the whole idea of who you know, it's who you know, not what you know, or I'm gonna go live in the woods. It's one or the other.
Let's go live
I'll
it.
let you
Let's
know.
No, let's go make some little tiny houses, little tiny house neighborhood up in the woods. Let's do that instead.
Let's just, move to Sweden, live in the woods there somewhere,
Hell yeah. Let's do that. That would be
and
so
just
good.
travel Norway, Switzerland, Sweden. It's so beautiful there.
I mean, it would be extremely entertaining. I love the woods. I love being outside. I love backpacking. I'm terrified of the spiders that come with it. So that's always fun. And I'm terrified of being eaten or attacked by something, which I always feel is going to happen when I have to go pee in the middle of the night. So I love it, but I feel like it's very entertaining for me,
Hmm.
anyways. If I think that there's a spider on me, guess who's going to get naked? Me. Just saying. It all comes
That's
off just
funny.
in case.
Yeah.
Um, we should do that. No, but how do you so but what if you don't know people in that industry or in that how do you go about following that it's who you know thing? Like I don't know how to I mean, I guess I don't know how to network because it's like, "Hey, get me this job. Thanks."
Well, I can tell you from this experience with informational interviews and hearing from the career panelists on Friday, it's as easy as going to LinkedIn, just emailing and messaging some people that you want to connect with, and just start there. Personally, I am going to explore one other profession that I just learned of. It's called Scrum Master.
The fuck is that?
Exactly.
Can you say that one
So,
more time?
Scrum Master.
Scrum Master. I'm so intrigued. Tell me more.
Can you? Okay, let's do that. This is hilarious. You truly don't know what it is, right?
No idea. Oh, am I gonna feel stupid afterwards? Like it's an obvious
No,
thing? Okay, good.
no, it's not. I mean, I think it's not, but
Okay.
it is in which industry? Do you want to guess? That's gonna be interesting. Scrum Master.
I can't even. I want to say porta potties for some reason. I know that's not it. I don't know why that comes to mind. Well, if it's something that you're interested in, I would have to say, God, something with data related.
Technology related.
Okay.
So it's a person who works on the development team. So let's say we have software engineers or developers, and they are sort of a project manager for this team. The idea is that they work with clients. So you have
Mhm.
this middle person liaison between the clients and the developers who communicate. Because I think, please, computer science people, don't get offended out there. I'm not trying to be mean, but I think it's created because of the lack of communication skills, possibly, or like the not inability to communicate, but like, I don't want to communicate. I'm here to program
Mhm.
effectively.
It's a different
And I
frame of
know,
mind. It's different.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so they have this person who likes to work with people and hash out deadlines and work on towards goals and then relay all this information in, okay, we need to get this done by this time. Okay, cheers. And so the scrum master is making sure that the team is doing the
Ah,
job and communicating with clients effectively,
okay. That sounds
and
really cool.
protecting the team from all the potential um, mess in terms of communication that is coming from
Mhm.
clients. Maybe they have too high of a demand, so it would be scrum master's job to protect the team and say, I'm sorry, this is way too much, we would
Mhm.
be able to do this by this time.
Got it. That sounds really interesting, actually. I did not see that coming, and I have no idea why it's called Scrum. I don't. There has to be something
It's
behind that. I'm gonna Google it
Yeah, it's
later.
a methodology in technology, like development, agile,
Mm.
and Scrum. It's like a different steps in the process of development of software,
Oh,
and Scrum is like you are the master of the Scrum process.
okay. That
If it's
sounds really
not
cool.
If this is not accurate, folks out there, I'm sorry. I'm just kind of translating this in the words the way I understood it, at least. And I talked to one person who's a Scrum Master, so that's all the knowledge I have at this point.
If someone has additional information about that, definitely find us on social media and leave comments and let us know. I think that's part of this podcast process is reaching out to those with more experience and learning from that. Mm.
Yeah. I went on Reddit and I was kind of looking up what software engineers thought of a Scrum Master. They're like, oh, it's not a necessary profession. Why do we even need a Scrum Master? And I felt very discouraged
Hmm.
because I don't want to be in a position that nobody needs or wants, like one of those filler things.
Hmm. Or respects on some level.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So what I mean that's true. I completely 100% agree with that. It's like I don't have the energy to deal with that shit. Um what education or what's required to get a position like that?
So usually you need to have a bachelor's degree in one of the computer science related fields. It's not required, it's recommended. If you don't have that, then you must have master's degree in some sort of communication, counseling, people skills,
Hmm.
management, project management. Plus, you get certification to be a scrum master. So you can go
Oh.
get certified and you go through training. And I'm very kind of interested in that. And I think before I make any further decisions, because I just talked to one person, I'll reach out to a couple of other scrum masters on LinkedIn and see what they say.
Yeah. And I'd be interested in what the job market is like for that position. Um
20% growing until 2028 projections.
Whoa. Get on that shit, Natalie.
I know.
So you can go get the training done before you apply, right? You can do that separately and then you can apply and say, look, I have the training. Here's my
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
I have a question for you.
yeah.
I don't know, I'm raising my hand. Um, do because we mentioned earlier that you were taking math classes. We've both been taking math classes, and I think you took a computer science class. Is there any regret on not staying with that and, like, completing more classes? Do you think that would have helped you decide or put you in a better position for choosing a next career path?
Yeah, I think so I took two CS classes and I thought to myself that I can absolutely program because I think to me it's like learning another language, another
Mhm,
secret way of translating things
mhm,
from English speak to programming speak. And it
mhm,
was fine. It's just like learning all these patterns and then just using them.
mhm.
But it wasn't fun.
That
But
makes
then
sense.
on the other hand, when I took math, I took trig and then I took calculus and then I was like, "Oh my gosh, I can do this all day." It was
Yes.
fun.
I love calculus so much. Ugh, just love it. Not Calc 2. I hated Calc 2. But Calc 1 and Calc 3 were really great, and I was so scared to take calculus. I remember thinking like, "Holy shit." You're like, "This is the deep end. This is and yeah, I loved it, and I feel like I was good at it. I got good grades, and I understood it, and I could apply it to my physics classes and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, let's just go back and take calculus classes over and over.
I know. I was just looking at my notes for Calc 1 and thinking, why didn't I do Calc 2 earlier, you know? But
Yeah.
honestly, to answer your question whether I felt like I should continue or whatever, I feel like maybe not because I realize how much more work it would require to be a good mathematician, statistician, data scientist. Although I find it to be fun
Mhm.
and I can do it all day, unlike computer science.
Mhm.
That's different.
Yeah.
But still, I think there's a huge gap that I would need to fill. And so here I am,
No.
maybe not willing to work hard enough at this point and wanting some kind of reward. But I think, when I talk about Scrum Master, I feel like that would be using my strength too,
Mhm.
being
Absolutely.
coordinator, communicator. I don't know.
No, when you described it, I feel like that's sound out of all the positions that we've talked about, recently, I feel like that one really says Natalie on it. I don't like it really does to me. I didn't know that was a thing. That's really cool.
Yeah.
But see, and I only had a few classes left in my math degree. And I was like, okay, I'll just go ahead and finish it. And that's what, people were saying, you're so close. And like that makes sense. School was paying for it for the most part. But I don't want to like I was like looking, I was like, what am I gonna do with it when I'm done? I don't want to be a mathematician or do anything that really involves that. That's not exciting. I enjoy the math, I enjoy the calculus and the differential equations and everything, but I don't know. So I decided over the summer that it's not like I set out to see if I could do it, see if it was possible for someone like me. Um and it is. I can do it. I'm good at it, and that's all I needed. I have that confirmation. I don't need a piece of paper to tell me that, and because I wouldn't use that piece of paper to do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, here's to life and all
Yeah,
of
I
our
guess
paths.
we need to find what's next for us to explore. I think I'm gonna give this Scrum Master a shot. What's on
Hmm.
your list?
I have no fucking clue. No, I've been really diving more into I don't even know what you would call it. Uh, not humanitarian. I don't know. Learning more about Afghanistan and terrorism, the Taliban, and all that stuff. So I've been diving into that a lot more to better understand it. I don't know what you'd call that,
Hmm.
but that's what I've been doing. So I'll
Got
probably
it.
keep doing that. I have some books I order that I'm gonna read. Um, I don't know. Maybe I'll cruise LinkedIn and see if what pops out at me. I don't know.
I found that to be a pretty good source of just inspiration and ideas. Like there were positions that I saw over and over again with so many openings that I was like, oh my gosh, what is this thing?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's gonna be interesting to see, even in the area like you were talking about, the kind of political. It's not political science, but it has that policy and regulations and
International relations, I guess.
international relations. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there. So, like with the master's degree, if I do the war and conflict, there's also another one that's like international war and something. If I do something like that, there's certainly a lot of jobs I can get. There's a lot of positions out there in internal relations or with nonprofits and stuff. But again, are those things that I want to do? I don't know. I need to read more about them. Like I'm interested. I'm really found that I'm really passionate about the topic. I'm really
mhm,
passionate about the people in Afghanistan and everything that's happened and what we're doing. But what is that? Does that mean though that I have to do something with it? Can I? I don't
right.
know what that means for me in my life path, but I guess we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah.
I always have new ideas. It seems like every year I have something new that I'm interested in. So it's an
hmm
adventure.
This conversation was great in just talking about the fact that we are in our 30s and we have no clue what we are doing, and that's okay.
Yep.
Because I feel like we have these stages of not knowing what we're doing. Then we conquer it and we do really well with it, and then we're ready for another adventure.
Hmm.
So I'd be curious to hear what other people have been up to in terms of what kind of adventures have they been exploring. And
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of times I work with first year students and they're like, I have no clue what I'm doing. I don't know what major I'm going to do. And I'm like, me either.
Yes, I get a lot
Yeah.
of younger students that they freak out because they don't know what they want to do. And what if I'm wasting time? I have to start over. And I'm like, well, welcome to the club. that's what we're all doing. Like that's the reality. I feel like these days is you're kind of you're changing paths over the course of your life, and that's okay. That's fun. That's adventurous. It's
Yeah.
scary and tiresome, but it's fun.
And so I thought it would be fun to end our episodes with a quote that inspired us either that day or that week, which, if you don't mind, I have one on my mind.
No, that sounds awesome. Let's hear it.
So I'm following this magazine, Founder magazine, for business people. It's around education and things like that. And it's funny because today they posted, it's never too late to learn new things. And I'm like, it means something. So
That's
everybody,
so perfect.
just keep this in mind. It's never too late to learn new things and challenge yourself. I'm just going to leave it at that.
That is wonderful and inspiring.
And I'm curious to hear if there are any quotes related to lifelong learning that inspire you. Share that with us.
Yes, please find us on our social media and let us know. That's a great way to end the show and start the week. That's a very inspirational quote, and we'll chat with you guys next week.
Talk to you later.